Hello, this is Mark Sabatella from Outside Shore Music. In this video, I want to talk about steps versus leaps. Well, not the definition of them. Step is, two notes that are adjacent on the piano or on whatever instrument or in your voice. Leaps are notes that are further apart, right? What I want to talk about is how are you going to use these steps versus leaps in a melody? And the general advice that you typically hear is that most melodies are going to have probably more steps than leaps. The leaps will mostly be on the smaller side, and when there's a large leap, you might resolve it by step in the opposite direction. Those are some typical observations, and I'm just going to take a look at two pieces, a vocal piece and a piano piece by the same composer, Schubert, and just take kind of a quick look just to kind of sanity check these concepts so you can see them in action. So this here is an art song, Die Krähe. And the melody here, so it's meant to be sung, and therefore the melody is probably going to be a bit more stepwise than an instrumental melody, especially a piano melody. That's something we can often expect. Let's take a look at this. So we have step, step, and then a leap down of a fourth, leap up of a third, and then some steps, right? Step, small leap, step, 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 step. Right? So right there, just in that little melody, we certainly saw mostly steps, saw a leap of a fourth, then a leap of a third, and then one other leap of a third. Everything else was steps. No leaps bigger than that leap of the fourth. If we keep going, we have that same passage, then leap up of a fourth, step, and then big leap down, fifth. Kind of big leap, right? Still kind of mostly steps, little bits of leaps there. Next little passage, some repeated notes. Step, small leap. Steps, steps, steps. Right? So we're seeing that this is mostly steps, mostly small leaps, and that big leap, by the way, that leap of the fifth was kind of a 5-1 kind of sol to do in the key of E flat. The piece kind of sometimes it's in C minor, sometimes it's in E flat major. That little passage there was more E flat major. All right. So anyhow, that's that piece. If we can flip over to a piece in the same key, same composer, this one is a piano piece, and we see right off the bat, it's more leaps than steps, right? But the leaps all form an arpeggio. This is going to be super common in instrumental music, perhaps even more so in piano music than in other instruments. You could do the math and do some analysis on your own to see if that statement is literally true, but I have a sense it probably is. Going on, then step, small leap, step, small leap, small leap, step, right? So it's that arpeggio at the beginning, and then after that, it's steps and small leaps. And then we get the same passage, kind of the same kind of a thing in the relative major. Right? There's that arpeggio, step, step, leap, step, 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 small leap. There is the biggest leap we've seen so far. Right? We saw this leap of a sixth up, and then it resolves by step. We could go through this whole piece again the same way, and what we'll find out is, there's going to be more leaps than a typical vocal piece, and many of the leaps are going to be arpeggios. If we kind of don't count arpeggios, count those as like you just sort of take them out of the equation, I don't know, we'll probably find more steps than leaps other than the arpeggios. I don't know. You can kind of keep going through these pieces yourself, as this piece has this interesting kind of, it's leap up, leap down, step, leap up, down, step, right? It's this combination of steps and leaps that kind of gives that line its special character. So that's something to be aware of. Well, when you have that alternating passage of like skips and steps and leaps and there's changes of direction in there, that creates its own effect. So none of this is to say there's a right and a wrong way to do this, but just, be thinking about this as you're looking at melodies. Where are their steps? Where are their leaps? And what can you learn from this about, what kind of effect this has and how you might want to make use of that in your own music. And I just wanted to show you some examples of it in the real world, in this case, Schubert.